Part of our stay on this planet with Ron. Holiday Valley Snow Sports has been Ron's main focus over the years. After we've enjoyed the meal, there will be an open mic session. So please, anyone that has some wonderful snow sports stories, please get your comments in order and we'll do an open mic after the dinner. We owe a debt of gratitude to the following for organizing the event. Patty Wolf, Patty Elliott, Cheryl, Judy, Bonnie, Joe, and Franco. And I'd like to thank everyone on behalf of Ron that brought food tonight. As we all know, the best lunches in the winter are at Creekside Lodge. So, and I'm sure that many of you will have snow sports stories to tell, but let's make reference to Ron's many other roles. The landscape beautification program has been under Ron's direction for the past many years, and the area has never looked better. The principles Ron employs in this is similar to the Yeti program he started years ago to grow young, enthusiastic training instructors into fine skiing and riding instructors for the future. So the talents that he brought to that program, he brought to the landscape crew here at Holiday Valley in the summertime. And you know, I'm sure all of you have seen the wonderful flower beds and landscaping that's gone on over the years here. So it's really been great. Thank you for that, Ron. Ron's other legacies include his hard work with the summer concerts for years and years, all of our 4th of July concerts. Ron's been a solid fixture at that and organizing that, and getting everything in, getting everything out, and taking care of all the loose ends. The mudslide event in the spring, Ron's been a big part of that. He laid out the original courses for that. That event grows every year, and we look forward to next year. Bike trails, Ron worked really hard on the bike trails here at the Valley, and over the years, he talked to me one day about Big Merlin Trail, and I'm like, what? Where's that? It's back behind Eagle. Come to find out. And then there was the IBO. The IBO is a huge event in summertime. Over 440 targets get set out for 3 days of archer competition, and it's a world championship event. And we've had it here several years. We just finished up a 2-year stint this year, and it's been a huge, huge event for the International Bow Hunters Organization. And there's a fort in the woods that Ron was very involved in. So Ron's contributions are all around us here. So I'd like to thank him for that, and just give him a hand on the sides. Okay, Franco's a real taskmaster, so he told me I had to stay on schedule here. So now I'd like to join me in the blessing, and we'll get prepared to enjoy the meal tonight. So here we go. May this food restore our strength, giving new energy to tired limbs, new thoughts to weary minds. May this drink restore our souls, giving new vision to dry spirits, new warmth to cold hearts. And once refreshed, may we renew pleasure to you who gives us all. So we'll start the dinner now, and we're going to start with Ron's table first. So Ron, if you'd like to get up and...
This is portion control. Soup, please.
Okay, after Ron's table goes...
I took it to my mom because I knew I'd be here all day, and then we're going to be here tonight, and he doesn't like being down here by himself, you know, he wants to go to the park. Well, mostly the dog. So, my dad's not here working, so my mom's also supposed.
Tonight that might go a little bit differently, but I'll do my best. You know, Ron's got a great history with us. His history with skiing and basically winters started north of Ellicottville, but he quickly wound up in Ellicottville. And I remember, I believe that his pre-course was actually under the direction of Phil Winton, if I've got that right. And Ron's presence stood out to me even back in that early year. There was a strength of character and an independence that I saw in those very first few days at Holiday Valley. and I think it continued to serve him and serve us well for a long period of time. And what do we know about that strength of character? Well, we know that one of his great interests, and I think one of the things that he did admirably well, was his interest in children, development of youth programs. And that's something that not only serves our sport well, our industry well, but certainly for all of us that are not young, we certainly should recognize that it is the future. And I will always admire that commitment and what he accomplished both in those early days as well as throughout the period of his career. His personal development was interesting. It was your typical ski school thing. He pursued PSIA, pursued certification. He was involved in a lot of aspects, and really I think one of the most notable was his commitment to PSIA and his commitment to others in being involved with professional ski instructors in America. He had diversity. Steve talked about that with the International Bow Organization, and he made an incredible connection and did great work for the IBO, as well as many other aspects of our summer operation and the landscape crew and on and on and on. It was all good stuff. But his commitment was really to skiing and to skiers and ski teachers and to the organization. In his involvement in PSIA, he, I think 15 years ago, became involved in the board. He actually had a stint on the National Board of Directors, and he was elected, I think, in 2012 as the president of PSIA. And I will say in that time, I watched really tremendous involvement in Ron in his career and personally as well. And that opportunity to not only share what you know with others, but also to kind of grow in the process. And it served him well, and it served all of us well. The interesting thing about that is the organization actually at PSIA is going to recognize him with a new annual award. It's going to be awarded for the first time on December 1st, and I believe it's titled the Ron Kubicki Staff Appreciation Award. Pretty significant accomplishment from Ron, and I'm proud of you for that, and you should be proud of that accomplishment. So, as I'm wrapping this up, I have a few things that I think that are important for me to say. We all recognize what he has brought to us. We recognize what his strength of character has done to make all of us better. But I think a man is measured not by what he gets in life, but what he gives in life. And I think Ron can be very proud of what he's given to others, and I know he will continue to, and I hope you get great satisfaction in that, Ron, and I know we're proud of you for that. And I will finally wrap up and conclude, in addition to many good years and many good miles ahead, a little toast, Buy my glass of wine, but a little saying that I like and I think applies here. There are good ships and there are wood ships, and there are ships that sail the sea. But the best ships are friendships, and may they always be. Here's to Ron.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Okay, mic's open, so anyone that has some tales to tell here, please step forward. Oh, here comes Dick Fox.
I want to tell you a little bit about that first experience at Hawley Valley. Back in those days, we had a 2-day pre-course, and it was an instructor training course, and then after it was all done, you sat down and you spread out all these cards, and you decided who you thought would make a good addition to the ski school. And we had Charlie Brown, who was called the Hammer. Charlie would always make the decisions finally. But I had the pleasure of working with Ron his first day here. And I think it was probably the first day he had skied for about the last 15 years. Because he showed up in, head comps? Yeah, that's right. And skis locked together. And he was an absolute picture from the 50s, and he did it very well. Of course, that was what, the 70s? Late 70s, yeah. But what Ron exhibited to everybody who worked with him was a very keen willingness to be coached, an extreme desire to be a part of the industry, and it was clear that he could communicate with folks and that he really wanted to do this. So that's what really got Ron started in that process. It was an interesting day. I can remember the chairlift ride up the Oak, we were talking to him, saying, why do you want to do this? But it was all for good reasons. And that same love of the sport, that desire to share something that you're good at and that you enjoy with other people is what's really helped Ron as he's evolved through the whole ski industry. Skip to just this last October, I want to tell you a little bit about this Ron Kubicki Staff Appreciation Board Award. I've had the honor of working with Ron now for about 6 years on the PSA board, and his leadership is just amazing. But the thing that we've always had an award for ski school directors that showed a lot of impact on the industry, and they're generally ski school directors from large schools, so they get lots of votes. But this award was put together to be given to a director each year who was appreciated by their staff. And that was what everybody on the board thought would be perfect to dedicate this to Ron, because there's never been a person who's been more in the camp of his staff than Ron, and everybody knows it. So this, the award is a nice award, and to have it dedicated to Ron is a really big honor. So, I think a little applause there. That's really And to quote an old motorcycle rider, not everyone who wanders is lost. Have a good time, Ron.
Thanks, Dick. Okay, who's next, or do I have to start calling on people?
Okay, as I look around the room, some people know me. No, it'll be quick and short. Trust me. Right, Deb? But as I look around the room, there are people here that don't know me. And I'm Bob McCarthy. And I'd like to remind everybody, there may be somebody in here who comes from Glenwood, but I doubt it. So my history with Ron goes back further than anybody else in this room, right? Ron happened to be in high school at the time when I taught him all the bad habits of the life of a ski instructor and the glamour of working 24 hours a day, making snow with our good friend, Bob Crone. And he's always been a friend. He'll always be a friend. He's a great, great guy. He's a faithful friend who will go on forever. So Ron, I was just talking to Joe. There is a story that goes back as to how you came to Holiday Valley, but I don't know what bar we were in when we were talking about it. And at that time you were working for Peter and Philip. And the season was coming on, and you didn't quite know what you were going to do, because eventually, within a short period of time, you're going to be laid off for the winter. And I said, oh, Ron, why don't you come down to Holiday Valley and teach skiing? And Ron was a skier back in the days when you kept your feet together. And he said, well, I don't know anything about teaching skiing. And I said, Ron, you really don't need, all you need to do is be able to breathe and stand up and work in the children's program. And he said, but I don't know anything about teaching skiing. And I said, you don't need to know anything. All you need to do is come down. And I was trying to remember who the director was, but now that you said it was Phil. And he came down and he took the pre-course and became an instant success. And that year, we used to do the big gathering, the instructors gathering at the end of the year. And with the awards, and you were awarded the #1 ski instructor instructor of the season that year. So for all those reasons and for all that time and all those years, Ron, I appreciate your friendship, your loyalty as a friend, and God bless you in many, 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 many years on the highway. Thanks, Ron.
Okay, who do we have next? Where'd Gene Connors go? I knew he had something to say. Oh, here goes Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen's coming on.
Oh.
Good thing that wasn't Halloween.
Yeah, I'm a little short, you know. Hard to follow McCarthy. I met Ron in the late 80s, and he was my daughter's boss. She worked in ski school. And long about early 2000, I applied for the directorship of the Lonsberry program. And Ron called me at home, and he said, I need you to come in for an interview. I said, you've known me for 15 years. You want me to interview? He said, yes. I said, okay. So we came in, and I interviewed with Ron, and I got the job. I'm still doing it. It's a whole other story. But anyhow, Ron had a special needs brother that had some special needs issues, and I think he had a place in his heart for the adaptive program. I don't think he did. I know he did have a place in his heart for the adaptive program. And I just want to say thank you to Ron, because he has gone to bat for us. I can't tell you how many times that he has had to stick up for the Lonsberry program, and you know, he'd say, you want to do what? And I'd say, yeah, I want to do this. He said, all right, yeah, I'll see what I can do. And so I just want to say thank you for all the support, Ron, and I wish you the best of luck. And I asked him if he wanted to become the instructor in the Lonsberry program. I got a giant no back on my email. But I want to say thank you for everything, and good luck with your motorcycle, good luck with Tanner, your horse, and please, you know, you're in my heart, and come and visit and stay friends. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. Okay, I heard a little bit about this next story earlier, so you better tell your mom to cover her ears.
I will never forgive you, Steve. That was attorney-client privilege. First of all, I should mention that I too was in that same pre-class. So I can assure you that not all the decisions on hiring were perfect coming out of that program. But Ron has always been the best in so many different ways, and people have underlined that and could go on forever and ever. My focus was a little different. I know there were, I think I counted 16 people who have had this nagging question that has been just hovering forever. And it involves a, shall we say, part-time, formerly full-time ski instructor named Don Swan. Now, I know Don has been around a long time. I saw a Civil War photo, by the way. I could swear. But with all Don delivers to the ski school, the question that was asked, and I know Dennis was a little shy to ask it, so he asked me to ask it. And if your mom would close her ears for just a second, now's the time to come clean. Are you the illegitimate son of Don Swan?
Now, who wants to top that one?
Do we get an answer?
We didn't get an answer. Ron, you want to answer that? Ask Mom. Okay, we can do that.
I'm actually at a loss for words, which is a first. God, I'm gonna cry. I'm crying. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dana Forbes, was Dana's chronic. Ron and I worked together for 10 years. My first memory of Ron was I I came here as an experienced instructor and was assigned a class. Patty, where's Patty Elliott? She assigned me this class, and I really didn't know what the level was, and I really didn't know my way around here, and so I took them up to Cindy's, which we all know Cindy's has a couple of head walls. So I make a turn with this group, and it's all going really well, and then by the second term, I mean, the kids were everywhere. I mean, one just fucking went down to the bottom, one goes into the woods, I mean, one clips me in the back, and there's two that are like a sandwich, and I am mortified because I'm underneath the lift, and all I can think is like, they're gonna fire me, I mean, I'm done. Like, it was horrible. And then all of a sudden, like, the sun is up there, you know, and this like flowing hair from skiing down, and little Jimmy gets picked up, shoot, little Susie and Billy get separated, and I mean, he just fixes it, and then they're all lined up right behind me, and he looks at me, and I'm like, I'm just standing there, Gabe, like, oh my God, what have I done? And he goes, it's okay, kiddo, it happens to the best of us. And he goes, I'm gonna go get the one that got away, and he just took away, and what I really took from that moment is something that I've carried with me throughout my whole career, is that, you know, when you make a mistake, it's not a mistake, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to learn, it's an opportunity to get better, and it's an opportunity to grow. And I think Dennis mentioned that Ron has always given back, and he's always invested in people, and Ron spent 10 years molding this. And you made me a lot of who I am today. You taught me, you know, not just how to deal with the Mr. Means, and not how to deal with some of the other, you know, issues that came up, but you taught me how to always do it with a smile. I mean, we all know in this business, you know, you can have a customer breathing down your neck 1 second, and then the next second you have to turn around with a smile, and he taught me how to do that. We shared an office and sat this close to each other for 10 years, and I don't think there's anybody that knows me as well as Ron. I don't think anybody knows Ron as well as I do. He was kind of like a brother at times, kind of like a husband at times, and kind of like a father at times. And I knew when he was the father, because that's when I'd get scolded. There was really just nothing like the time that I had with Ron. And when I left here, there's a lot of people in this room who impacted me and who did things for me. Bonnie, Dennis, Cheryl, and Scott, our original team. And it was really hard to go, but it was the most hard thing to do was to leave you, Ron. And I am just so honored to have spent that time with you, and I am who I am because of you, and I don't want to get sappy, but I know I thank you for everything that I am. And I've got a lot of really funny stories about the magnet. Does that guy still work here at the IT? What's his name? Okay, Dennis. Where's Dennis Eschbach? Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. Listen to what happened. So Ron, I'm going to tell a funny story, because I was going to cry. So Ron had this giant stick, and it had a magnet on the end. And I would sit there, and his desk was this far away, and he would I'd be on the phone, some wonderful person, and he'd take the magnet stick, and he'd go like this, and he'd grab my stapler and drag it across the desk and drop it to the floor. Do you remember this? And then he'd take it, or he also had a fly fishing pole for years in the back of the office. The office was not always, his side was kind of messy. And he'd hit me in the head with that. So at one point, I had this magnet thing, and I'm trying to do the same thing to him, and I'm flicking it onto his desk, and I'm flicking it here, and then I go like this, and I flick it at my computer screen. And the entire thing goes, I go, oh my God, Ron! And he's like, what? I mean, I ruined the screen. Now, I mean, you told, who was the guy? Joe Myers. I lied. I said, I think I left the picture on my screen too long and it burned an image in there. I mean, I ruined the screen, right? Didn't I? Do you remember this? It's all your fault because you and that stupid magnetic thing. So we had, every day was a good time, and every day was a learning experience, and every day was an opportunity for growth. And I think everyone in this room can thank you for all that you've done to support people, not just through learning how to ski, teaching skiing, teaching snowboarding, just being better people, Ron. So I think we should raise our glass to you, and everybody should stand up and give this guy a round of applause for putting up with us for all these years. I love you, Ron. I wrecked the screen for sure. I didn't wreck a lot of things, but I almost wrecked a van once too, I think, when we were driving. He didn't like the way I drove, because I sometimes would just have one hand on the wheel. He'd be like, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, all the time when we drive to Vermont. It was horrible. But I didn't wreck any vans, Dennis, I swear. Just the computer screen. And maybe I might have shattered a few hearts, but all right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dana. That was wonderful. Okay, do we have anybody else? I know we have a trio that's going to come up here at the end. Oh, here comes Dave Ely.
I think what I really appreciate, or learned to appreciate, Ron, is when I would go to other events at other areas and talk to other instructors, and I would tell them how we were treated, the benefits we had, the things that Ron made sure we had, and they'd all look at me like in amazement. And we just took all those things for granted here. And I really appreciate the fact that we were able to do that.
Thanks, Dave. Oh, here comes Joe and Patty.
You thought you had it easy.
Well, a lot of things.
Yeah, because we never did it together.
And I've spent many a night in Summerfest getting things organized. You're the best, Ron. In a lot of things. Plants, the best. But I am here to tell you that Ron did have a failure in a task, and he failed miserably at it. And I'm partly responsible for it. I want to apologize, but we got fired as the pinecone procrastinator, or whatever the hell it was, predicting what the winners were going to be. Now, I understand that there's pictures up there somewhere of me in a pinecone thing, and your poetry was wonderful, but we just never did get that job done. No, we failed miserably, buddy. Oh yeah, oh yeah, I'm here with you 100%. You know, when the shooting starts, where was Bonnie? She's gone. Yeah. It was just me and you, buddy, and we just, you know, it just wasn't the same, and I understand that, yeah, we started over. Dennis is keeping that alive a little bit, and the employee,
Thanks for bringing it up.
you know, you're just too perfect right now. And I just wanted you to know that there is a little failure there. Not a lot. But buddy, you make your trail long and happy.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, any other takers here? Anybody dare? Okay, here comes, Patty?
I just want to tell you, many of you don't know that I work here in the summer, and I work in the Adventure Care program with this lovely lady as my boss. And it's a program that actually Dana started years ago, and we work out of the training center. And we have children that they're 5 years old, some up to 10 years old, 11 or 12. Well, every year at the end of our summer program, Ron hosts our annual s'mores party up at the fort. So, yeah, Mr. Ron. So we hike all the kids up to the fort, and then he takes all the stuff up for us, and we have a bonfire, and the kids are playing, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful end of the year summer treat, and I just want to thank Ron for making that happen for us.
Thank you. And nobody gets hurt.
And nobody gets hurt. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Patty. And I think you'll be coming back up here at the biker triplets, aren't you? We'll get to that. Okay, any other takers? Oh, Miguel is here. Oh, stand by.
You know what? I just came
I was my neighbor's 90th birthday, and I said I have to leave because I have to see Ron. I didn't even think anybody was going to be speaking here. But anyways, I'm going to go back to 1986. I came here in 1986, and I think he showed up in 1987. He looked a little bit younger, but basically the same thing. Long hair, cowboy boots, and I said, who the hell is this powerful here? So anyways, so we've been together for 30 years, and for the last 30 years, I mean, you were kind of my boss, or my boss. I had an awesome ride with you, and just to let you know that, I mean, I had a great time. I respect you a hell of a lot, and you'll be my friend for the rest of my life, okay?
Thank you, Miguel, and thanks for being here on time. Okay, is there anyone else? We have any other takers out here? Or we've roasted Ron and toasted Ron, so we're in pretty good shape. I guess now we'll call up Ron's biker girlfriends here. They have a little something to say. So we'll call up Patty Ellen, Patty Wolf, and my beloved better half, Cheryl.
So Ron, we know how you like your motorcycle. So, if these other two girls showed up in shirts like they were supposed to, we are the biker babes. Where is your biker shirt?
We chickened out.
Well, I had to wear Steve's shirt.
We went shopping at the Harley store Thursday.
Twice.
And the story that goes along with that was Patty and I got so involved with shopping in the Gowanda Harley Davidson store that when I got home that night, I went to go back to the car and empty everything out. And I couldn't find what we went over there to look for. So we went over to get that night. So I called Gowanda Harley Davidson in a panic, going, oh my gosh. I don't know where this is. I left it there. So the guy said, well, I can call you back. I said, no, you can't call me back. He goes, I'll put you on hold. I said, okay. So he came back about 5 minutes later and he said, I found it. It was in the changing room where you and your friends were. Yes, number one from Gowanda Harley Davidson. And your staff and everyone here who contributed generously in appreciation of all that you've done for all of us through the years. What can I say? Because that's what you always say to me. At the end of every note and letter he's written me the past 3 years, he always says, what can I say? We have history, we're good friends, old friends, work together, and I'm going to miss you as well as everyone else. So, from the Harley girls at Holiday Valley, we thank you very much.
You and I have worked together for 23 years. I hope you know how much you've impacted so many people, because you have. You've made a lot of changes, good changes, and every time I was hesitant and would say, no, you'd go, it'll be okay. Just hang in there, we'll see how it goes. And you know, you taught me change is a good thing. Your life's changing right now, and you're going into the next stage, and you're going to kick ass.
Is Dory Day out here?
Harley girls, but I wish I was. I have a Harley picked out down in York. Yeah, a Softail. Anyway, when Ron came to Holly Valley, Barbara and I were teaching almost full time at that point. And Patty came, and Barbara and I took Daddy out to lunch, did not deter her from coming here. And then when Ron came, Barbara and I whipped him into shape. And we had a lot of fun at Ski Week, the old Ski Week building. And when we finally got the Ski Week building, it was already too small because that program just multiplied. And we always had a good time. We had potluck suppers and picnics and a lot of fun. And these kids now, they're bringing their kids that we used to teach with. They're bringing their kids, and it's a lot of fun to see. And Ron and Patty took me out, I remember, to do my level 2, and they were teaching me about the bumps. They took me to the chute, and there were ice things that were like Volkswagen buses. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. No, you can do this. And both of them got me through that. So I appreciate everything you've done. We will miss you.
Ron, we still have a few more things from the staff to give you. And these are some of Ron's favorite things.
The Harley Speedo?
Can you show everyone what's in this bag?
Yeah, Ron. Those are all in front of my mom here.
Ron likes to smoke cigars and drink Maker's Mark Bergen on his deck at night. Good for you.
I don't inhale.
Ron is a patriot. Anyone in here follows him. So we found him a great knife and knives and Zippo, and it's the Patriot knife. Because we feel you are a patriot. That's about it. Enjoy all your things from the staff and everyone here, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Babe. Thank you, Dorothy. Okay, I guess we don't have any more takers up here.
Hold on.
Bob McCarthy's coming back. Hang on. We'll be here for another couple hours.
Ron, I didn't realize that was your mother. And had I known it was your mother, I would have told the stories of how bad you were when you were a teenager. So, I'm not envious or jealous of many things in my life. In fact, probably none, except one, was even when you were young, you had the most beautiful hair. Jesus. My hair went away and yours got longer and prettier. And so we never did meet your mom. Could you introduce her to everybody that's here? We've only heard about her, living up in the hills above Glenwood.
My mom, Marianne Wagner, who has been with me from my beginning.
And he always calls you Ma. I gotta go see Ma. Yeah, right.
That's next. Now, are you done, Bob? You done now? Okay. You're a tough guy to get the mic away from, right? You've got to work at that. And now it is Ron's turn for a rebuttal. If he has anything he'd like to rebut or refute from those stories we got told here tonight. So, Ron, I'll give you an opportunity to address the crowd here.
I'll get started. I don't know how far I'll get into this before it gets messy, but First thing I want to tell everybody clearly is you're not getting paid for this. It's even to express the things that have happened to me here at the Valley have been some of the biggest impactions in my life has happened here, and it's because of everybody in this room. I didn't bring this with me, you know, I learned it here. And it was important to me to feel like I belonged a part of something. And once I got on staff here, Dick Fox did hire me. And he did say, so when did you learn how to ski? In the 50s? And I thought me and Steino, we could hang that kind of position right out there.
Jean-Claude.
I learned how to ski at Clement Acres chasing Bob McCarthy and Jim Bowden down the hill. I wasn't a ski instructor then, and he was a lecherous college kid. So, but the one thing I learned when I came here, and I learned it from everybody that spoke, and I can't name everybody because I'd have to name everybody, but I learned what it was like to be part of a team and to engage in something that had a passion and that was a benefit for the staff. We were here to serve the guests, but it was more than that. It was more about being us. And once I got to be the director, I always just wanted to be part of the staff. That's why it was always important for me to be around you guys. You know, I love going down the Creekside because I love the energy of the young folks down there and the kids and just the enthusiasm down there, and just the goofiness and fun that comes out of that building. And then to be out at lineups. I was never out there to check up on things. I was out there just because I like to be around you guys. And that's the thing that I'm feeling the most now is, you know, I miss you all. And, you know, this time of year I walk through the place and I see it ramping up. And in the winter, and I used to be such a part of that. And it's so odd to see it go on. It goes on without everybody. I mean, no one's key enough to end this, but it's certainly a poignant moment for me. But just blesses my career, what you guys are doing for me here tonight. And I'm humbled beyond what I can honestly express to you. I'm sorry for, you know, I'm going to go home and in 2 days I'm going to think, geez, I wish I would have said this or would have said that. And I can't think of them all now, but I'm clearly engaged with every one of you at a very personal level. And that's what I'm taking away from here. And that's what my career has been here. It's been being involved with some really wonderful people, really wonderful people. I didn't come here a people person.
I'll adjust to that.
And people that have spoken about those taught me. And I learned from everybody here. Honest to God, I could go around this room and speak to each one of you individually and have a personal moment together with you. And I look around this room and I see 10, 20, 30 faces that were here the very first day I got started. Just to show that the school goes on and you guys just chew up directors and spit them out. But it just shows the value. And speaking, I'm very flattered by the PSI award, but that really should be called the Holiday Valley Snow Sports School Award, because that's, you guys all taught me how to be part of this, and that the director is an advocate for his staff. He's not in charge, he's not the boss. He just gets out of the way and let you guys do what you do. And I can't tell you how much I just miss everybody here, and I look forward to seeing you again in the winter. And there's people in this room that touch my heart deeply. And I can't say more than that. I love you all. Thank you so much for, I'm glad to have my mom here, my sister here. Family is dear to my heart, and she jumped on a plane yesterday. She drove from Steamboat to Denver, jumped on a plane, was 5 hours late, got here. I think she tore balloons up last night. And she's leaving first thing in the morning to go back, but that's just part of the demonstration of the friendships here. Patty and Dory and Cheryl, I just can't say enough. And I can't go on because I don't want to miss anybody. I just really, I thank you all. I'm just humbled beyond my words. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, if everybody would stay on their feet, you can certainly sit, except Mom. Mom, you can sit. Ron, no, Mom. I said Mom, you said Ron, you stand up. Okay, please stick around, and there'll be some social hour afterwards. You know, Ron certainly wants to talk to more people yet tonight, and we'll have more time to do that. I would like to close the evening, and Ron's been a special guy to me. I don't want to know. I'll teared up over it, Ron, but you've meant a lot to me over the years. You've always been somebody that I could go to and talk to about things, and you know, you taught me a lot about skiing. Pete Widger thinks he taught me about skiing. But he gets some of the credit, you get some. But anyway, I want to close with a quote from Robert Hunter. And he was a lyricist for a band, that's a great American rock and roll band that actually retired this summer, Ron, same time you're doing this. Although they just played in Buffalo this past week, so there's something about retirement that isn't eternal, okay? So here's a quote. Sometimes the lights are shining on me, other times I can barely see. Lately it occurs to me what a long, strange trip it's been.
Dave's a pro. Good.
Sometimes the lights all shine.